Welcome once again to the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. Today we're talking about boys basketball with Bradley Central head coach Zach Carpenter and a very special guest. And Zach, we always like to let you introduce the guest first.
We got senior forward here, Josh Wyckoff.
Josh Wyckoff. Been playing basketball here a lot at Bradley, haven't you, Josh?
Yes, sir, I have.
You've seen some good games, some really good games. You've seen some where we left disappointed, but that's the nature of the business in basketball.
Yep, yes, sir.
We had a couple of games last week. Before I talk to Zach, I want to ask you about those. We at Cleveland High School played here. Big night, huge crowd last Friday. A lot of things going on with retirement of Ryan Howard's jersey and the induction of Terry Scott into the Boys Hall of Fame. You had a big night, 8 points, 11 boards in a huge game, and those rebounds probably as important as anything that you could have done that night against Cleveland High School. It was a big win, a district win. So coming out of that game, man, you had to feel good about things.
I did feel really good, and I played my role rebounding-wise because they're a very good rebounding team, so I knew I'd have to step up and rebound, so that's what I did.
Well, I was looking back, I think we had a bunch of points in the paint in that game, 34 points in the paint for that game. Coach, that means you're getting somebody inside or we're getting a lot of rebounds, putting back.
Yeah, well, I don't remember exactly how many we had that game. Speaking of Josh specifically, I do know that he had 6 offensive rebounds for us that game. He did a great job.
Yeah.
I also did a great job of helping break the press, being back there taking care of the ball. But that's been one of the things we harp on every day is offensive rebounding. Give yourself extra possessions, and we've been able to do that, I think, pretty well this year.
Well, obviously a big win, and boy, the atmosphere was electric last Friday night there for that game. The entire game. People were standing up the whole time, it seems like. And the thing about it is nobody ever got the big lead. It was just back and forth. So everybody was in the game and focused, and it was a fun game to do.
Great atmosphere. I thought the student section was phenomenal. They were up cheering the whole time. I thought they were great. Thank you guys for coming out. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, as a player here at Bradley, I know it means a lot to you because you had your days against Cleveland High, and now you're coaching against Cleveland High and the other teams too. But it's just an atmosphere that can't be recreated with any other opponent we have,
No, and it not a lot's changed since I played here. The fans are into it, students are into it, the teams are into it.
Yeah.
It's a hard-fought game every time you step on the floor against them.
It really was, and I think one of the highlights of that night, of course, the win was the big thing, but having Terry Scott come back. Terry was the first African-American athlete at Bradley Central. It started back in the mid-'60s. I was in school at the time when he came in here. I remember that very well when he came and went out for the basketball team and made it, obviously. And he and Jimmy Cannon, Wayne Richardson, Derry Cochran, Dave Montgomery, all those guys that were on that team, a really good team. But he sort of opened the door at the time because basically we had a white high school and a black high school at College Hill at the time. It's no longer open, but he opened the door for a lot of folks, and obviously it's worked out good for us. But being involved, and we did that at halftime, the girls, so the boys could see that, the boys team, and I thought that was a great opportunity for them to understand the importance of Terry being part of our program.
It was. That was the first time I actually got to meet him, so it was great meeting him. We got to talk a little bit before the game, before he went out. And I think it speaks a lot to Terry that some of his college track buddies were there. I mean, people came back to support him. People drove in from out of town. I think that speaks volumes of the kind of person he is. He's
well liked, and everybody should know, and probably does. They have the basketball camp every summer. The family does. They didn't have it the last 2 years because of COVID and everything, but the LETS, Life Education Through Sports, is what they call that. And it's actually a foundation that Alvin Scott, his brother, who plays the Phoenix Suns, started, and we look forward to that every year. But last night we had a game down at Howard, another district game on the road. We had things going our way. Here again, another close game, back and forth. Neither team could break away. You said a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was, basketball's a game of runs. Last night, they had a run early. Then we had a run. We overtook them. The third quarter, we came back with 12 straight points and took the lead in that game. And then we have the lead going to the fourth. 5 points lead.
Yep.
They get on 18 straight points, and that's hard to overcome on the road. But we fought back. We got it back down to 5. But 29 turnovers. That's the name of the game right there. That's where it was lost.
That's kind of been our Achilles heel all year long. There's not a whole lot you can do, draw up X's and O's wise if you turn the ball over at that high of a clip. And that's something I told the team after the game. We're going to get back to work on, starting a day in practice, taking care of the ball, valuing every possession, not having those empty possessions. That kills us. because we're playing really good defense. I feel guys are playing really hard. We're rebounding the ball well. We're scoring the ball when we want to. It's just when we start turning the ball over, things go a little crazy.
Well, you mentioned last night, you said, my guys gave great effort. He said, I love this group of kids. So I know you feel emotional with them whenever things go that way. And if you look at 29 turnovers, that's 29 missed opportunities that you've lost, but the other team's got a chance to take advantage of that and score. And you can look at it that way as a 4-point swing anytime you lose the ball.
It is. 29 turnovers, and then they scored 31 points off those turnovers. Mm-hmm. That's the game right there. If we cut that in half, even at half, 15 still too many. Mm-hmm. But if you cut that in half. What's your goal per game? Do you have a goal set per game for turnovers? 12 or less.
12, okay.
If we can have 12 or less, I feel really good about it. We've taken care of the ball. We've shared the ball. And we haven't given them easy run-outs, easy layups.
How do you go about stopping it? Is it just trying to get them to focus more or slow down sometimes? We played a little bit at two-up tempo last night, I thought.
Slowing down, relaxing a little bit. Don't get uptight when you see the pressure coming at you. It's fine. Stick to play the way we play, Bradley basketball. And if we can get back to doing that, I think we'll be all right.
Well, I noticed last night I was watching you, and you was trying to get them to keep moving, because that motion offense, we get that going, it's going to open up that back door for us in a lot of ways, and it did, and we took advantage of that several times.
It is, and that's something we're working on every day, to trying to get the guys to understand the reads. It's not so much a play, it's just you got to take what the defense gives you. Mm-hmm. If they're playing a certain way, we're going to do this out of it. If they're playing a different way, we're going to have this option out of it. And they've gotten a lot better at it. They're working hard.
Yeah. Josh, what is your key to being a valuable player to this team? What would you like to improve on? Is it free throw shooting? You don't take many three-pointers. You're an inside guy. You're what, 6'5" or so?
6'6".
6'6", so, and you got some tall, lanky guys in there between Jackson Area and Carter Howard and those guys, and you got some tall guys in the middle there. What would you like to see yourself better at?
I like to see myself better at defense. Mm-hmm. I've been fouling a lot, which has been lessening my minutes because my coach has to take me out. So if I just play better defense like I should be and not foul, I think that would help.
Well, looking at last night's score sheet, Josh, you had 12 rebounds. As Zach mentioned, 4 of those were offensive rebounds last night. You had 3 assists, 2 steals, so you filled the chart up pretty good. You had some turnovers in there too. I know you'd like to take those out and zero those out, but in a game like that last night, Howard is really, really quick. Fast hands. They're in your face and contesting almost every pass, but it's just hard to me. Watching it, it's hard to. I wouldn't want to have those guys guarding me, put it that way, because they are so quick. Well, this week, Josh, we've got another road game Friday night at Ottawa, another district game. They got beat last night by McMinn County. We're 1-1 in the district. We are not in first. Howard and McMinn is unbeaten, both 2-0 in the district right now. And so every game in the district is really important, especially the road games, because if you can go and win on the road, you figure you're going to take care of business at home. And I guess that's the way most people look. That's like in baseball, split on the road or win at home, if you can. But Zach, how do you got to get ready and prepare for another game Friday night?
You got to have short-term memory loss. Last night happened. We're going to come in right after school today before practice, watch some film, hit the weight room, and then go out on the court and get better and start preparing for Ottawa. Do
you watch a lot of film throughout the season? I guess your upcoming opponents you always like to look at.
Well, you do. You want to watch who you're playing upcoming, and then also go back and watch films of the games you just played. There's a lot of good teaching points from last night that we're going to watch today.
So you're watching film from our point of view, say, hey, here's what we did wrong, and here's what we did good. Yeah. And then looking at ahead at Ottawa, you say, well, here's what they try to do and emphasize defensively, whatever. Zach, do you spend a lot of time looking at film yourself, or do you do it here at school, or Josh, do you like to watch film? Can you look after and say, oh, Lord, this is embarrassing. I was in the wrong place, or I screwed up here, or whatever?
Yeah, I do like watching film. It definitely helps out. You learn a lot, see where you messed up, and just got to try and fix it.
Yeah. Do you play any other sports here at Bryan? Just basketball?
Just basketball.
Well, and I always like to ask you, so seniors especially, where do you see yourself 10, 15 years? Basketball's over with in your life. What would you like to be doing as a professional or career?
I'm not really sure. haven't thought much about that. I may take after my dad. He flips houses and is a contractor. So I may do that, but haven't thought a lot.
Well, and you're young, you don't have to worry about that now, but I always like to ask you, 'cause it surprises me sometimes what they'll tell me, you know. You think, wow, that was off the wall kind of thing there, but we want to wish you good luck Friday night, continue to play injury-free, and we've had good luck this year in regard to injuries there. And Coach, we got to get, should say that. We got to get those turnovers cut down because they'll come back and bite you like they did last night.
It is, you know, it starts in practice. I told them that last night. You know, we'll get back after it today and work on it, continue to get better at it.
Well, it should be a lot of fun because after Friday night, who do we have coming up next week?
Ray County on Tuesday.
That's a home game.
That's a home game, and then we go to East Hamilton on Friday, and then we're playing Maplewood out of Nashville on Saturday down in Chattanooga.
And the Classic, that's at Howard High School, right?
Yes.
We had a good turnout, a good crowd down there. I always had good support. But
it
good
is.
Crowd there last night.
It was a really good crowd. Thank you guys for coming out to support us.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're going to wrap it up for now with the Zach Carpenter Coaches Show. We'll be back here next week to review the games that we've just played this week and also look ahead again. Until next time, for Josh Wyckoff, Josh, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Coach Carpenter, as always, we appreciate your input.
Thank you for having
me. Program. This is Gary Oldman saying so long for now. God bless and go Bears.